And we're live for round 2 of Sunday Fun Day Fun Day. Are you having a fun day on Sunday? Let's get down on it. Get down on it. What's up, everyone? I am the High Priestess Phoenix. I am your spiritual healer and teacher. Obviously, your DJ. Your healer, teacher, shaman, seer, oracle, lightworker, starseed, earth angel, mystic, medium, psychic, witch, yogi, guru, evangelist, North American Sybil. I am your messenger of God, the first child of God, the divine feminine who rules over the mind and the emotions, the dark goddess in the flesh. I am the Lilith reincarnated. In order to keep up with me, you want to see what I post on my community page, my latest live video, and anything in my shorts. What are we doing? Religious studies. Are you ready to become religious? Let's study the religions. I was just looking at the book, or looking into the freaking abyss of my library down there that I call Pandora's box. I'm like, what are we going to talk about? We have to talk about the Bhagavad Gita, because we were supposed to. And I'm looking at Buddha's book, always, and I got the Bible in my hand. Anything more is too much. Alright. My head feels heavy. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. It's weighing me down. It's weighing me down. I'm having a freaking, you know what I mean, a Stephen Hawkins moment. Somebody strap my head to the back of this chair. Very Hannibal thing. I might bite you. Alright, where are we gonna go? I don't know. Wherever God says. You wanna pick a page in the Bible, Amelia? I'm so serious. Just open this book in any page.
I already had to go to the pizza.
Okay, we're gonna study the Bible. Any page. There's no wrong fucking answer. Maybe you'll find something about homosexuality in there. What'd you pick? Zechariah. Oh, obedience better than fasting. That's so funny. I'm going to fast again. Why? Because, well, I mean, not because, you know, we're going into a famine, but to avoid the famine. Why? I sacrificed myself. I nominate myself as tribute. Yeah, I practiced it the other weekend. Really? Let's see. Vision of the 4 chariots. Let's talk about that. That sounds like some shit we need to see. Do we need the vision of the lampstand and the olive tree? The vision of the flying scrolls? Vision of the woman in the basket? Visions, guys. We talked about that earlier. It was the divine feminine awakening and visions. Judgment on Israel's enemies. Micaiah. Punishment of Israel's injustice. The witch laugh had to make it so much worse, didn't it? I just sit here in my high throne laughing at the fucking fall of mankind. Is this an old story? Yeah, it's like it's the Old Testament, but yet here we are, 2025, staying alive with the punishment of Israel's injustice and the judgment on Israel's enemy. I hate this, dude. I motherfucking hate time. I'm caught up in a fucking time loop. Talking about Groundhog's Day, in an essence. At least I get to see the visions of it play out in different fucking forms. But pretty much, yeah. It's a time loop. I don't know. Do we want to go to the 2nd Chronicles? Egypt attacks Judea. This book is great. It's filled with all kinds of horror stories. Perfect for the fucking Halloween season. I can't, God. Come on, God. Why do you make me do this part of the job? This is the suckiest part of my job. I'm not a priest. I'm not a priest. Oh, come on. It's an important part of the job, is what he said. I need you to spread Jesus' word. Well, let's get to Jesus, because he's not back there. We went to Revelations, what? 18:11? What is it? And the merchants of earth will weep and mourn over her, for no one buys her merchandise anymore. Merchandise of gold and silver, precious stones and pearls, fine linens, purple, silk, and scarlet, every kind of citron wood, every kind of object of ivory, every kind of object of most precious wood, bronze, and marble, and the cinnamon incense. Ooh, what are we burning? Cinnamon. Cinnamon? Yes. Really? Yeah, it's right here. I told you. What are we burning? Cinnamon. And I have lots of cinnamon chips that we put in this shit. Really? Yes. Holy Spirit stuff. I'm sorry. I'm a whole witch, dude. This shit is bullshit to me. Really? Yeah, because we go. Fragrant oils of frankincense, wine and oil, fine flour and wheat, cattle, sheep, horse, chariots, and bodies of souls of men. The fruit that your soul longed for has gone from you. Yup. And all the things which are rich and splendid had gone from you, and you shall find them no more at all. The merchants of these things, who became rich by her, will stand in a distance of fear in her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, Alas, alas, the great city that was clothed in fine linen, purple, scarlets, adorned and with gold and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour such great riches came to nothing. Everything shipmastered. All who traveled by ship, sailors, and many as trade of the sea, stood at a distance, and cried out when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What is this like, this great city? They threw dust on their heads, and cried out, weeping and wailing, and saying, at last, the great city in which all whose ships on the sea became rich by her wealth, for in 1 hour she made desolate. Rejoice over her, O heaven, you holy apostles and prophets, for God has avenged you on her. Oh, who's her? Oh, man. The Scarlet Woman and the Scarlet Beast. One of the 7 angels who had the 777, yep, that would be it. On what? Chapter 17. Revelation 17. On what? Page 721. Is this your numerology, you loser? Keep up with the times. And then the 7 angels had the 7 bowls came and talked to me, saying to me, Come, and I will show you the judgment of the great harlot, who sits on many waters, with whom the kings of the earth committed fornication, and inhabitants of the earth were made drunk with the wine of her fornication. She who carries me away in the spirit in the wilderness, and it is and I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast, which was full of the names of blasphemy. Is that me? The dragon warrior? I love this shit. Having 7 heads and 10 thorns, the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet and adorned with gold and precious stones and pearls, having her hand in gold cup of abominations, and the faithfulness of her fornication. Is it me? No. It's the spirit of Lilith, though. It's the idolization of Lilith in the form. Really? Yeah, you shall see. It's all these little girls. All these dirty little girls. You shall bear witness, as I do too. And on her forehead was written the name, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots, and of the abominations of earth. I love it. I saw the woman drunk with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I marveled with great amazement. She don't need to go out. She was chilling with me. That's what this was talk about, the great fall of Babylon. I don't think we really want to talk about the Revelation days. Let's just live through it. They make it sound so much scarier than I think it needed to be. John, the empty tomb. Mary Magdalene sees the risen Lord. Hey, Mary Magdalene is totally on the agenda. Where are you at, Chica? That is a good question. There it is. I said that all week. I said I wanted to read this. Stop what we're doing. Why? Well, we'll read what's in the Bible and then we'll go from there. Jesus said. We're going to talk about his wife. Where are we? John chapter 11. But Mary stood outside the tomb weeping. As she wept, she stooped down and looked into the tomb, and she saw 2 angels in white sitting at the head and the other at the feet, where the body of Jesus had lain. They said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping?" She said to them, "Because they have taken away my Lord, and I do not know where they have laid him." 14. Now when she had said this, she turned around, and Jesus was standing there, and did not know that it was Jesus. Jesus said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping? Whom are you seeking?" She supposing him to be the gardener, said to him, "Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you have laid him, and I will take him away." Jesus said to her, "Mary," turned to him and said, "Rabboni," which is to say, teacher. Jesus said to her, "Do not cling to me, for I have not yet ascended to my Father. But go to my brethren and say to them, I am ascending to my Father and your Father, and to my God and your God." Mary Magdalene came and told the disciples that she had seen the Lord, and that he had spoken these things to her. Had she not been there, nobody would have known he was ascending. And he didn't say just my Father, but our Father. He made the ascent, and then he made the descent. And that's what it was all about. So then it goes on. Then came the day in the evening, and the first day of the week, when the doors were shut, when the disciples were assembled, the fear of the Jews. Jesus came and stood in the midst and said to them, "Peace be with you." When he said this, he showed them his hands and his side. Then the disciples were glad when they saw the Lord. So Jesus said to them again, "Peace to you. As the Father has sent me, I also send you." Then when he said this, the brethren on them and said to them, "Receive the Holy Spirit. If you forgive the sins of any, they are forgiving them. If you retain the sins of any, they are retained." Seeing and believing. Now Thomas, called the twin, one of the 12, was not, what do we say today? The twin iron. Was not with them when Jesus came. The other disciples therefore said to him, "We have seen the Lord." So he has said to them, "Unless I see his hands," the print of his nails, and put my finger into the print of his nails, and put my hand to his side, I will not believe. And after 8 days his disciples were again inside, and Thomas with them. Jesus came, the doors being shut, and stood in the midst and said, "Peace to you." Then he said to Thomas, "Reach your fingers here, and look at my hands, and reach your hands here, and put it into my side. Do not be unbelieving, but believing." And Thomas answered and said to him, "My Lord, my God." Jesus said to me, "Thomas, because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed." In all the magic that we do, it's believing is seen. Manifestations are believing. Visions, all of this. It goes on to tell, there's so many stories of angels, apparitions, apostles, Jesus himself coming to speak with them. An angel, a guardian angel, many. I want you to be aware of that. It goes on and on about Jesus. Jesus restores Peter. Beloved disciples in his book. This is the end of John. Then the Acts of the Apostles. We're going to go on to Mary Magdalene. Why? Because she was important. I didn't want you to know. What did I go to? The Sacred Circle of the Bride. Cycle 5. What is this? I don't know. St. John, and we were just reading about John. It was John chapter something. The guardian of the Holy Mother and St. Joseph of Arimathea became the guardian of the Holy Bride. Joseph was among the Pharisees and the secret disciples of Lord Yeshua. He dearly honored and loved St. Mary Magdalene, calling her my lady, just as he spoke of Yeshua, my Lord. Thus, Joseph received teachings and initiations from Lady Mary and Lord Yeshua. and was a disciple to both our Lord and Our Lady. Because of this, Lord Yeshua charged Joseph with the guardianship of the Holy Bride, and the sacred trust pleased Joseph deeply. When the Lord departed, Joseph acquired a house for Mary in the hills of Galilee, and tended to her every need. There Saint Michael grew in her womb, and a circle of companions gathered around her. To anyone that would listen and hear, she taught the gospel of truth, and imparted teachings and initiations to every disciple according to each one's desire to receive and embody the light presence. Once Mary's son was born, Joseph acquired a wet nurse so that Lady Mary could freely teach and paradoxically go on retreat into the wilderness as she was inclined to do so. Thus Mary, along with the women disciples, tended to Saint Michael, and the Joseph was like a father to him. Son of a bitch. I had to close the door on that. What did I ask Gabriel for? A Joseph. What did he give Mary Magdalene? A Joseph. We're not talking about Mother Mary. We're talking about Mary Magdalene and her son Michael. No shit. What did I ask him for? Something real. When it came time for the bride and Saint Michael to depart to the Holy Land, Saint Joseph arranged transport and traveled with them. He was with Saint Mary Magdalene and Saint Michael until his death. The time of departure. When the Lord was crucified on the Mount of Golgotha, the fate of Jerusalem was sealed. When he was raised up from the dead, his body of light became a living and eternal temple of the temple on earth. It was like the husk to shed. Thus, where you been? Saint Mary Magdalene, no, before you get comfortable, what about that one? Saint Mary Magdalene intended to depart from the Holy Land, knowing the spirit of the holiness was no longer in it. Mary was merely waiting until Saint Michael was old enough to travel a great distance. While she waited, she sought to plant seeds of light and to establish a circle of true gnosis. As Saint Michael grew, word of Yeshua conceived a son with Mary came to attention of the Jewish authorities. Some men among them plotted to have Michael found and put to death because they feared he would acquire the power of his father and be loved by the people as Yeshua was. It was then determined that the time of Lady Mary's departure for the Holy Land, for the risen Savior appeared to her and told her of the danger. In this way, she knew that the time had come. Mary told Joseph that the time had come, and he swiftly made preparations for the journey. Mary blessed all of her disciples and celebrated the wedding feast with them. She laid hands on a woman called Ruth, recognizing her as the elder of the circle, and leaving the companions in her care. Of the circle of companions, only Salam, the young lad, and Joseph were allowed to travel with her. Saint Michael to the new land. The rest were to remain in Galilee to extend the light to the true gnosis. The following night, Mary, her son, and her companions set out to the journey. Does anybody want to maybe take that into consideration, that Jesus had a wife and had children? So, I don't have the book yet, but there's a book that connects her to the alchemical. She's part of the light body, right? Jesus activated his light body, and we teach that here. So there's a book that connects her to Metatron and this whole alchemy, and it's all through love, obviously. Why didn't Jesus stay to live a long life? Why didn't Pac? Were they meant to? We come to do our works and leave. And in essence, how old was he when he left? You know what I mean? He left everything. He came, he died, he lived, He loved. He spread everything he had. He gave the entire universe to humanity. And that's what it really is. It's like, Kobe. How much more did you want from him? He was nearly an old man. He had given you all the wisdom, all the mastery of himself, his entire experience. He gave you everything. And as I say that, I look at Marshall. It's like, how much more will you give them? Michael Jackson. He gave his entire life to humanity. All those celebrities of the 27 Club and everyone after. They had given up themselves for humanity at that point. They had sacrificed themselves to humanity. In one way or another, they had through their careers. And as I say that, I see Juice, I see Mac, I see Brittany Murphy, I see Robin Williams, I see Heath Ledger, I see them all. I see fucking Tommy Boy over there. I see them all. They came, they seen, they conquered. They brought joy, they brought wisdom, they brought love, they brought smiles. They brought life. To keep them here longer would have been a longer struggle. Life only gets harder. It doesn't get easier. Just longer. You get wiser, so it doesn't, you get, I would say numb, I suppose. But, you look at things that Mr. Plum has seen in his 70 years, and he's here for the big 100. Really, he sees an image that he's sitting there on his 100th birthday, and he blows his candle out, and he's done for. That's how he sees his. Really? So we've seen it. It was a long time. That's why I was like, Mr. Plum, you ain't going nowhere. Again, they told him he had 6 months to live, and he's been 27 years cancer-free since then. And he's still he's got another 25 years to go. But in the essence, it's like, oh shit, is somebody holding his head up while he blows that candle? Did he have to take his mask off to blow that candle? I don't know. It's all up to you if you don't want to, if you choose not to believe. But we just started with believing is seeing, and I just told you. She was there. They tried to erase her. They tried to erase me. They tried to erase the feminine. We could access God through our feelings. It's not logical. And anyone that could was considered a witch. Mother Mary would have been, that's what we talked about in Oklahoma, under the full moon. And the fact that nobody said that an angel laid with her. It wasn't just magically placed in her. She was asleep. Just as Adam was asleep when God did this wonderful surgery and created Eve from his rib. Really? Right after, I was like, no way. Here comes Pac. Yeah, way. No way, bro. Get the fuck away from me, dude. No. No. Really? Truly. She spoke with an angel. It was far before Jesus, bro. And there was many women in the Bible, dude. There's Ruth. There's Esther. There's all kinds of them, bro. Truly? There's a, when you walk up Mother Cabrini Shrine, now Mother Cabrini Shrine is all built in the, in Catholicism, the teachings of Catholicism, which I know not what the shit is. But there's all of these statues going up there. And one that is always significant to me on the way up is Jesus spoke to the women. There's this part where he stops and he speaks to the women as he's carrying his cross. Up Mount whatever, nothing, self and stuff. He stops and speaks to the women, and that always stands out to me. And, it was probably like, stick to the plan. Stick to the plan. You know what I mean? He knew. And that's what it is like, oh, we don't get to change what we know. We just know what's about to go down. All right, let's move on to Buddha, shall we? Sir Buddha, would you like to take a seat? He's always sitting so proper. Where are we going to turn to? I don't know. I'm filling the back of this. Where'd we go to? Practical ways of living. Sajuta are the 7 types of wives. Oh, God, here we go with the 7s. There is a wife who is like a murderer. She is like an impure mind, does not honor her husband, and consequently turns her heart to another man. Oh, that's nice. There's a wife who is like a thief. She never understands her husband's labor, but thinks only of her desire for luxury. She wants her husband's income to satisfy her own appetite, but by doing so steals from him. Oh, jeez. That sounds like some of your women. Oh, God. This is... Oh, help me, Jesus! We went from something beautiful like Mary Magdalene to these murdering, thieving wives. There's a wife who's like a mother. She cares for her husband as though he were a child, protects him as a mother does a son, and takes good care of his income. There's a wife who's like a sister. She's faithful to her husband and serves him like a sister with modesty and reserve. There's a wife who's like a friend, who tries to please her husband as if the friends who had just returned from a long absence. She is modest, behaves correctly, and treats him with great respect. Lastly, there's a wife who's like a maidservant. She serves her husband well, with fidelity. She respects him, obeys his commands, has no wishes for her own, no ill feelings, no resentment, and always tries to make him happy. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Don't be that girl. I'm like, no, throw the book out, throw the book out. Let's go back to these murderous bitches. That I can deal with. This, no. I don't resent you for treating me like shit. I resent this completely. The Blessed One asks, Sujoda, or Suada, I don't know, Swada? Which type of wife would you like, or which one would you like to be? Hearing these words of the Blessed One, she was ashamed of her past conduct and replied she wished to be like the one in the last example, the maidservant. Ew, no thank you. She changed her behavior and became her husband's helper, and together they sought enlightenment together. Come on, what are you asking me to do? Fidelity, fine. Respects, obeys his commands. What are you commanding me to do, Commander? What are you telling me to do? I need you to take care of this, that, and the other. Is that a request? Are you asking? Did you say please? Can we stop with the marriage talk? Please. For fucking God's sakes. You're not going to have a Joseph if you're not. Come on. And how our baby's born. Come on. It just was an idea in my head. I didn't really work out the logics of this. What is it? No wishes of her own. No, I wish you would leave me alone. What the fuck? This dumb bitch. She has no wishes of her own and no ill feelings. She doesn't get a period. She doesn't get hangry. Like, what? Stupid. No resentments. I mean, are you feeling resentful? Maybe in a moment. And always tries to make you... I don't give a shit. I'm not trying to make you happy. What the fuck is this? Nah, bro. What am I? I don't know. I guess I'm your mother or friend. There's a wife who's like a master. She rails at her husband, neglects the housekeeping, and always scolds him with rough words. Ooh, who's that one? I skipped that one. Wait, what are our choices here? What kind of women are we want to be? Put the fucking witch laugh on it, why don't you? Alright. There's a wife who's a thief, who never understands her husband's labor, but thinks only of her desire of luxury. Okay, do we want to be a Jonica? I feel like if you find a John, then Jonica him. His love language is apple paint. He loves to give his cash away. She's not thieving. He's paying for it. He's paying extortion fees. I love you guys so much. Where did you come from? This is funny as fuck. Alright, then there's the master. She doesn't do the housekeeping and she always scolds him with rough words. Yeah, I see a couple of those. Oh man. I don't want to push no cultures on this particular one. There's a wife who's like a mother and she cares for her husband as if he was a child, protects him from like a mother does, and takes good care of his income. Bobby, is this your wife? That's what he said. She doesn't want me to end up in... She tracks me because she doesn't want me to end up in the side of the road. She's very motherly. I feel like... Does she do the housework, though? There's a wife who's like a sister. She's faithful to her husband and serves him like a sister with modesty and reserve. There's a wife like a friend. I'm like your sister. Take it easy, Joe Dirt. Jesus Christ Almighty. There's a wife who's like a friend who tries to please her husband as if they were a friend who just returned from a long absence. She's modest, behaves correctly, and treats him with great respect. All right, what's the answer here? I feel like that was not the right answer. Emma Parley was wealthy and famous courtesan of Vasali. We read about this. He said, ask for some good teachings. She yields to her desires and surrenders to jealousy more easily than a man. What? So it said, Amrapali, the mind of a woman is easily disrupted and misled. She yields to her desires and surrenders to jealousy more easily than a man. Therefore, it is more difficult for a woman to follow a noble path. This is especially true for young, beautiful women. You must step forth towards the noble path by overcoming lust and temptation. You lusty bitch. I am so loving this. This is hilarious. Anyways, the only thing that protects and brings one to lasting peace is enlightenment. You should seek enlightenment at once, is what he says to her. You need Jesus in your life. Really? There's no distinction on sex on the path to enlightenment. If a woman makes up her mind to seek enlightenment, she will become a heroine of the true path. And then it goes on about enlightenment, and don't be that. Attachment to ego personality leads people to delusion, but faith in their Buddha nature leads them to enlightenment. I turned totally to a completely different page. It is like the woman in a story whom a chest was bequeathed. What is this word? Not knowing that the chest contained gold, she continued to live in poverty until another person opened it and showed her the gold. Buddha opens the mind of people and shows them the purity of the Buddha nature. If everyone has a Buddha nature, why is there so much suffering when people cheat one another and kill one another? And why are there so many distinctions of rank, wealth, rich, poor? Here's a story of a wrestler. Why do they always got to tell these stories? Come on, Buddha. Buddha nature is like a precious stone of this story. It becomes covered by the dirt and the dust of others' interests, and people think that they have lost it. But the good teacher recovers it again for them. Buddha nature exists in everyone, no matter how deeply it may be covered by greed, anger, foolishness, or buried by their own deeds and retribution. Buddha nature can never be lost or destroyed. When all defilements are removed, sooner or later it will reappear. Like the wrestler in the story who was shown a gem, I saw something very interesting at that moment. What did I see? My first baby daddy, when I met him at like 15, it's like at the end of life, he'll be that again, I guess. You get hardened by your experiences. What you truly are, you lose along the way, which is just your soul. You're technically a good person. You really are. Underneath it all, you're a really great person. And they were showing me like him when he was young and smiley and stuff. But now he's just like covered by greed, anger, foolishness, buried by his own deeds and retribution. You know what I mean? But sooner or later it will reappear in your dying days and stuff. You know what I mean? You come back to a little bit of your own self again. You find yourself. Buddha nature is always pure and tranquil, no matter how varied the conditions and surrounding of people may be. Just like the milk is always white, regardless of the color of the cow's hide, either red, white, or black. So it doesn't matter how differently their deeds may condition people's lives, or what different effects may follow their acts and thoughts. There's a fable in India. Shut up. In like manner, Buddha nature is hidden away beneath the wild growth of the worldly passions and can rarely be discovered. But Buddha found it and revealed it to the people, and as they received it by their varying faculties, it tastes different to each person. And that's where it is. What Buddha was giving you was the spirit, enlightenment. What Christ was giving you was the spirit, the light body. right? I can take you over into this other book. Where are we at? We're at 35 minutes. We're doing fine. I can take you into this other book, which is the Pleiadians. These are aliens, so we're going to put you away now. Beam him up, Scotty. In the back of this book, it has some references. And I'm going to read some of these references to you, because there's a lot of references to Christ having to do with the Pleiadians, which is the 7 sisters, which is literally the Pleiades star system that's out there. 777, yes, the 7s, my friend. As I said that, we went to the 7th chakra, located at the top of the head, known as the crown. And she had upon her crown 7 stars. Anyways, chakra brings in all spiritual and cosmic information and energy, regulates and contains our spiritual goals for the current lifetime, as well as what we are here to learn, achieve in this world, which is part of our spiritual learning experience. All right, we're going to talk about Christ. That was just chakra. All right, the Christed realm. Listen, this is where I access consciously realms of existence, where the Ascending Master Jesus Christ, Saint Germain, Mother Mary, and all members of the Great White Brotherhood dwell. Connected with the star Sirius and the dolphin star consciousness, which is held and emanated by the light beings who dwell there or are from there, including cities of lights. Okay, that's a realm of existence. Now, the Christ consciousness is a spiritual evolutionary consciousness of purity and of integrity and action. Now, I went into a huge teaching that you ain't got no integrity. The mastery of alchemy and ascension. This all happens in the Christ consciousness. The mastery of alchemy and ascension, the ability to know divine truth, wisdom, compassion, forgiveness, peace, and mastery. Beings of the Christ consciousness who are incarnated in the 3rd dimensional form are here in their divine alignment throughout all 9-dimensional aspects of the individuated self. Say it again. Those of us like me that have the Christ consciousness are not limited to staying here in the 3rd dimensional. We have access to all 9 dimensions. Did you hear that? I'm going to read it again as they said. Beings of the Christ consciousness who are incarnated in the 3rd dimensional form, that's me, I'm here in the 3D, are in their divine alignment throughout all 9-dimensional aspects of the individuated self. All right? And that's my higher selves. They're all aligned. Okay? So then you have your Christed self, the aspect of humans who have combined earth experience, conscious, and wisdom with that of the higher self, and that means I've taken myself, which is Lilith, and Christ's consciousness, same as master presence, the composite of consciousness of all 9-dimensional aspects of the individual, having access to 3rd dimensional consciousness through the embodiment of itself in divine alignment in human form. What does that mean? I put on for my city of lights? Shut up. Let me tell you what the city of light is. 4th through 6th dimensional cities of temples of light where ascending masters dwell. I live in the 5th dimension and beyond. Location of many spiritual initiations, sacred teachings, and healings during human dream time and between life teachings, review, and healing. Right? So that's those of us. You want to exit the fucking mind and get into the multi-universe? Really? Yup. You guys are in collective consciousness. What's that? Gathering and the unity of minds and purpose of a group of beings with common goals, life situations, and location and inhabitants. Number 2, the one mindfulness of a group and individuals for a common purpose, such as the evolution of a species, protection of a community, bringing more love into inhabitants of planet, family, community. Higher collective conscious occurs when the intent of a group is aligned for evolutionary, spiritual, or creative purpose. Lower collective conscious exists with groups of beings who share identical negative thought forms, beliefs, or destructive goals. You guys are negative. You have the same destructive goals, the same fucking negative thoughts, and the same negative beliefs. Negative. Negative. Alright, where are all the dimensions? There's so many. The fourth dimension, a being contains consciousness as feelings and thoughts based on feelings. Or excuse me. Consciousness as feelings and thoughts based on feelings. Right? So to leave the third dimension, to even get here, this is the fourth, this is you, the fourth dimension. This is the gateway. I am your leader into the tree of life. You have to go through the fourth dimension, which is what? Your feelings and thoughts based on feelings. You tap into your feelings. You cannot do this, Wolfman, or anybody else, by denying your feelings, especially those ones that make you cry. It's called shadow work. It's part of the journey, you piece of poopy. This dimension contains both dark and light polarities. The light realms are made up of the city of what? Lights. And those who have reached a vibrational frequency between 9,000 and 12,000 vibrations per second. What does that mean? I'm higher than that, so much higher than that. But that means where you're literally vibrating higher. You're sending off, you're a high vibing person. What do they look like? Happy-go-lucky people? The conscious here are the first stages of the Christ consciousness following ascension. It's the start of it. Many guides, angels, and ascending masters impulse the third dimensional humans who are receptive to available for spiritual growth and evolutions. Humans are also impulsed by dark astral counterparts that exist in this dimension. That's what happened to him. He's being drawn to the dark aspects of the ascension. Okay, but they don't get too far. They never made it to the light, dummy. Anyways, that's it. Humans are blah blah blah. The dark ones are able to match with lower vibrational frequencies of negative thoughts, vices, repressed emotions, unhealed or denied shadow sides of humans. And that's why he prays to Lucifer and to all of the dark, because they align with his negative thoughts, his dirty vices, his repressed emotions, his unhealed and denied shadow side. They are able to pull them into the dark side and then control them and feed off of their pain, fear, and other dense energies. How do they feed off it? Look at Britney Spears. They take your life source. They literally feed off of, they get to live life through your being. By what? Just keeping you fucking locked up in your mind about your pain, the pain that you've been through? Really? Yeah, it's such a nice thing. As humans develop higher vibrational qualities of being, thinking, feeling, and doing, as well as transcending karmic tendencies, meaning this is low vibrational, dude. Just saying that this is what people do is stupid. You know damn well that's a karmic tendency of their own shadow sides. They are magnetized into the fourth dimension. And that's it. How did I get there? Real quick, just changing a bunch of behaviors. No longer participating in low vibrational shit. I stopped drinking. I stopped going out. I stopped doing a lot of things. And all of a sudden I was in the fourth dimension. Really? Yeah, that's how it is. You gotta shed your skin, losers. Fourth dimension light impulses and pulls free from the dark control and parasitic beings. The dark polarity of the realm is also one of the places where nightmares and astral abuse takes place. Where's that? Oh, astral abuse? Yeah, those dreams are pretty bad. I'm going to stop right there. Really? Yep, we're not going any further than the fourth dimension. We're still stuck there in your fucking thoughts and feelings. They want me to reread that one more time. Okay, so I can reactivate what I just said. I have all these pages turned down. Where the fuck was that? Damn it, I got all these pages turned down. It wasn't that one. I know I turned it the other way. Where were we? No, we were in the back. Okay, I remember. We were in the back. What does it say? Dark polarities in this realm. Also the one place of where nightmares and astral... Hold on. Nightmares and astral abuse take place. Where is it? I saw Russ. And then I saw addiction. And then I kept reading. What it is it's a battle of your mind. It's like your mind's telling you, and that's where it is. It's not the devil. It's a shadow side of you that always gives into this. It's not the devil. It's like, no, I'm not going to drink today. Then don't drink. But then it comes to you and you can't, you know what I mean? Those are those battles. Karmic battles. We can all do it, but if we're not, you know what I mean? Are we doing this for the right reasons, or we know we're not supposed to be doing it? And there gets to a point where you tell yourself you're not supposed to do this anymore. And you're trying to follow that, but you're not following it. Your heart's telling you, no, I'm done with this. And yet you can't stop yourself. Addictive behaviors, karmic behaviors, something like this. There's many different things. It's like, oh, I shouldn't give in to this. And that's where it is self-control and self-discipline. Changing yourself, not always letting yourself go. That's what that means, the dark polarities. And that's where, you know, Wolfman is always trying to get you to feed into your dark polarities. And that's what it is. You need to recognize them. And he doesn't understand that. Because as I expose our shadows over here, Russ tries to make a song about it and it comes out filth. Because he tries to make it a lifestyle and it's not supposed to. We're supposed to recognize, you know what I mean, our filthy behaviors in the bedroom, but not, you know what I mean, parade them on the radio. We're supposed to recognize our impulses to be greedy, but not parade it on the radio. We're supposed to recognize these things in ourselves, you know what I mean? Recognize, master it in ourselves and not, you know what I mean, persecute others. Or in essence, praise it. You know, Marshall's music praises rage. He makes it okay to be violent. Now, he doesn't take into consideration all of us that have overcome violent crimes and how triggering that fucking music could be. You know what I mean? I'm talking about killing people. I had sex with your wife and not in those words. Shut up, Hawk. Yeah, and that's where this happens. And that's what happened to Kanye. And that's what happens. It's because you're sitting there at the threshold of, you know what I mean? All of your darkness. You're faced with your darkness. And you're supposed to transmute it. Otherwise, you will become it. So, simplistically, look at Britney Spears. She finally got all of her freedom. She can do whatever she wants now. What does she become? The worst version of herself? Really? What did Kanye become? The worst version of himself? What happens during an awakening? It gets real bad. What did Will Smith become? The worst version of himself? What does Nicki Minaj become? The worst version of herself? They don't want to face it and fight it. So they give into it and they become it. So Russ is nothing more than his 16-year-old self now. He can't come back to reality. It's overcome him. Simple things like he's given into all of his, you know, all the things that he supposedly outgrew within his time. Now he's doing it all over again, and he thinks it's cute. He thinks it's cute to play, you know, basketball at 30-something years old. He thinks he's part of something. Like his inner child has taken over. Really? You're supposed to heal it, not become it. And that's Wolfman. He wants you to give into these impulses and these desires and, you know, let them, you know, he wants to, and that's just really it. They misinterpret what we stood for. And that's, you know, that's Lilith. Fuck around and find out. And then I'll sit there and laugh at you after you've learned the hard lesson. And that's the evil part. Did you know this was, yeah? Why didn't you stop me? Because everybody must learn their lesson. That's the evil part. I knew this wasn't going to end well. Really? Yeah, but ultimately, you know, you're in my realm. You didn't listen to God. So you come over here and listen to me, the one person, the one that doesn't listen to God? What do you think I'm going to tell you not to do? Not to listen to God? Do whatever you want. That's what I did. And then you don't look at my current situation, you know, and that's going back to Lilith. It's like you went to Lilith and you don't understand. You never had the understanding. And that's why I laugh at Wolfman praying to fucking Lucifer for power. He lost all power. Everyone does when you don't listen to God. How long did it take you to learn that lesson, Lilith? I learned it in my first life. They never learned. That's why I have so many lives and they don't. That's why I had so many lives. I submitted. I submitted to his rule right after that. It didn't take me many lifetimes to realize that. The only thing I didn't do is what I'm here to do now. Which was what? Gabriel said what? Go lay with that man. Alright, as long as it's a Joseph. And that's my terms. And that's what we've agreed upon. And I aligned and they aligned, and I didn't ask for anything that wasn't given in all of time to all the worthy women that gave birth to the saviors, to the future generations. So shall it be. But anyways, yeah, that was it. And you guys don't want to listen. And that's your heart all the time. It tells you not to do this, not to say that, not to go there, you know, and even not the no's, but the yeses. When it tells you to say something even harder and stronger, to speak up, to fight. And that is the rebellion, and that's the Lilith that you do need. You're trying to pull from all the, you know what I mean, unhealed aspects, and you're not understanding the true power. It's like jealous bitches want to run to Lilith. I mean, I feel for you. Like, I know how it feels. And that's it. Girls that get fucking cheated on run to Lilith. Okay. And that's really it is you want to pull on my vengeance. But that's not even useful. And that goes back to Falmanach. That's the whole story of Falmanach replayed. And that's where I sit outside and I watch my life replay in another. Right? What's the story on Falmanach? Falmanach had her king, but her king was in love with some other bitch. So Falmanach used all sorts of magic to get rid of this bitch. Right? And when her husband found out, he fucking chopped her head off for this shit. He finally ended up getting the girl back after she was, you know, after she killed her and she was reborn and this, that, and the other. But he could never really get her back after what had happened. And Falmanach, with all her power and shit, she should have just let them be. And should have just, you know, sailed away and had a better life. It's easy to see it in Falmanach's, but you can't see it in Lilith. And eventually I did. That's the story. It's like you guys, you know, eventually you do. And that's what you need to do, and that's why I'm here to teach you now, is move on. Do you know how many guys God made for me after him? Do you know how many he brought? And then you go back to it. Yeah, we shared the love, but nothing else. I shared the universe with these gods. He was just a man. And that's the difference, you know, going back to my Joseph. I'll share the bed with him, but as far as the universe, I don't know if he'll have that ability. And that's just as far as the teachings go. So Christ is an intricate part to all of this, and that's what I teach you. And that's why people have such a difficulty with this. I'm a pagan high priestess that teaches the Christ consciousness. Without such, you cannot ascend to the highest levels of light, which is back to God. I am here as the dark goddess to teach you the ways out of hell back to God, using, you know, the ascending masters to guide your way. And I'm the one making jokes all the way along the way, watching you trip and fall and make every mistake. Like, oh, it's okay. You better get your shit together now. And then I could just be like, well, you're gonna die. We're all gonna die. Just fuck it. Just die miserable. Have another miserable life and more misery, and just keep it on. I'll be around. I'll see you next life. Pretty much. Restoring life force to food. We're not doing that. Really? We're going to do that later when I have this whole book about it. Yeah? Yeah. I got it before I went to Oklahoma. And I started learning about agriculture. Something called the Einhorn something. Einhorn? I swear. It's real. It's about growing spiritual food. Spiritually enlightened food. Really? Yeah, try this. This fucking mango is going to blow your mind. What's in it? It's all organic. It's spiritual food. You guys have organic. We're going to have spiritual food that has thoughts and feelings. It's very emotional. It's going to be a very emotional experience. Talk about Thanksgiving, huh? Hey, I love you guys. I'm going to go now. Where are you going to go? I don't know. I'm not going to sit here with you anymore reading about spirituality. Oh, we didn't read no Bhagavad Gita. Come on. Reincarnation and shit. Where's that at? Where's that book? There's so many books down here. God. Bhagavad Gita. Check. This would be Sri Krishna. And he tells the story of Vishnu. For those that want to know where we're at. Where are we going? Come on, don't start with story time, bro. Just get to the good shit. The royal path. Krishna accepts every offering made to him in the right spirit. He assures Arjuna of this. Then he demands that Arjuna makes everything, every act, every meal, every sacrifice, every gift, even his suffering, an offering to God. He demands this so that Arjuna can be released from the bondage of karma. This is a new emphasis and a new way. If Arjuna can live complete union with Krishna's will, doing everything for Krishna alone, then by that purity of will he be free from self-motives and thus released from karma. His spirit will be free and he will attain his goal of mystic union with Krishna. Krishna declares that he is impartial to all creatures. He neither favors nor rejects anyone. It is their sincere love that, on page 171, that is important. Those who are truly devout to Krishna live in him, and he abides in them. With some daring, probably at the risk of discomfort, and for more orthodox, Krishna adds that even a sinner who takes a wholehearted refuge in him becomes good. The word used is sadhu, which really means a good person who has come to signify one who leads a spiritual life, giving up all the selfish desires to achieve the final goal. The word for sinner, I can't pronounce that, should be passed by either. Su is literally good, dur is bad. Thus, one who conducts is really bad. We might say good and hot to mean really hot. Krishna promises that his devotees must attain peace at last. No one who has genuine love and devotion can perish. The meaning here is taken to be perish in the spiritual sense. Come to the spiritual harm. The message in this chapter is simple. It contains no philosophy and the only one theology. The one message is, anyone who has real love for the Lord of love, who is in all creatures, will in the end attain the goal. This is the royal secret that Krishna has promised to reveal. And then it says chapter 9, the royal path. What are you reading? I don't know. It's just a journey between him and Arjuna. The field of the knower, the two paths. In a rare somber tone, Krishna describes the sinful person, the individual of a demonic kind, and it seems he knows what he is talking about. But first he assures Arjuna that he is the divine type, so he shouldn't be alarmed. The demonic personality is basic atheistic for such people's lives that do not originate in God or a divine reality, but is grounded in biology or sexual desires. Taking a low view of human nature, such people can cause suffering to themselves as well as others. They are arrogant and have so many unsustainable selfish desires. They do not hesitate to do anything that will get them what they want. Krishna grants that they may attain their desires, enjoying wealth and power, but their destination is hell, a hell of their own making. Often in this very life of their own karma bears fruit. One of the least likable characteristics of demonic personalities is the sense of self-importance. They like to give gifts of ostentatiously and offer ritual sacrifice. This legitimizes their wealth, and makes them feel respectable and esteemed. They like being generous if it will make them look good. Krishna does not disguise his aversion to cruel people. He tells Arjuna that he arranges for them to be born again and again in harsh worlds. Such souls cannot seem to purify their sinful hearts, repeating the same selfish ways. They sink lower and lower. This is a bleak picture, which the Gita dwells on only in this chapter. But even here, amidst the gloom, Krishna will not say that such a soul is eternally damned. It may be such a sinful creature is condemned to a birth after birth in harsh, unfavorable circumstances, sinking into more and more hellish states of mind. But the cycle goes on. The choice to change direction is always open, and the attainment itself can never be sustained. Lust, anger, and greed are the three doors to hell that Arjuna must at all costs not enter. That's what I said we dealt with, right? No, we were dealing with greed and lust. And what was the next one? Lies? Whatever. A person who enters will not fail to reach life's goal, but will not achieve any measure of lasting happiness or prosperity. In Sanskrit, this chapter is called The Way of Divine and Demonic Destinies. The word deva, God, and asura, demon, are not taken too literally here. The Hindu scripture often tells stories of the battles between the gods and the demons. Thus, they dramatize the struggle between good and evil in the world. No divine character from Hindu mythology escapes the challenge from some demon. Usually the god or the goddess is victorious, but often the demon will win a battle or two, though not a final victory. Krishna has a long battle record. Celebrates the epithets like so-and-so, the slayer of the demon of Madhu, Rama, another incarnation of Vishnu, had confronted to kill Ravana. The stories go on. The god will never seem to rest long. There's always a new challenge and a new authority. And that's where, I as the Kali come from. Herein the interest is the more frankly human, and when Krishna discussed the divine and demonic qualities, he speaks of not gods and demons, but humans good and evil. We acknowledge our humanistic nature and tend to it well. You can't lock up a beast without the beast, tearing free. And that's where it is we all have a sense of greed, of lust, of power, of, all of these things lie within us. We lay them to rest, not by denying them, but by acknowledging them, and not by always giving in to them, but in essence by healing them. An over lustful nature is just because you're lacking love and passion. An over greedy nature is a lack of power and control. You know what I mean? All of these things can be redirected in more positive notes. That's it. It's like there's nothing wrong about my lusty self. If it's I can't control it, and I'm just putting it out there, then it becomes a problem. You know what I mean? When I don't have control of myself. These are all parts of the self. They're called the shadow parts of yourself that they deem as evil in all books. All of us are greedy. All of us have sexual desires. All of us are hateful. All of us are angry and loathsome and judgmental. It comes in the skin that we wear. It was given to us. How lovely. How lovely. It comes in the skin you wear. You have to stop the flares. It's like a sunburn, bro. You gotta put the cream on it, bro. You gotta stop it. It's like that this situation, it's like if you're a recovering alcoholic, right? And you know that they serve alcohol there and you're still not ready for that, then you have to take good measures to keep your spiritual PhD up. Meaning you're trying to make strides spiritually to not be low vibrational and not participate in things like this anymore. All glory to those that are having a good time, but you've gotten to a place in your time where you don't want to be part of this. So it's going to take a lot more self-discipline. You don't have to lie to people to get out of such situations, but you do have to make preparations for these situations as you're changing it. It's like, you know what I mean? I have no business being around a bunch of, cocaine. I don't need to be around young guys that are going to, young guys tend to want me. I'm not going to a college party. What happens? They start wanting me and I start liking it, and then before you know it, I'm having sex with 25-year-olds. Why? Because they wanted it and so did I? Is that a lie? No, not at all. I shouldn't have put myself out there like that. I knew this was going to happen. And that's just what it is. It's just what it is. They want to ride, and I want to see what they're working with. This isn't bad. It can be if I just keep going to frat parties. If I put a whole schedule of frat parties. If I don't recognize that that young guy is checking you out, I'll go with it. No, we're trying to get a guy our age, and we're not giving in to this all the time. Oh, Allie. Oh, he's so sexy. Stop doing this. I bet he can last so. Stop it. And that's just what it is. You don't go to Vegas if you have a gambling problem. Like, no, I think we're going to take the long way around. What, you mean Reno? No, we're going to go south for the winter. That's it. You try to, and that's God still, the temptations are there. When I stopped doing drugs, I found drugs all the time on the floor. Really? And people would offer them to me all the time. It's like when you're trying to get high, you can't find shit. I would find them all the time. Seriously, I swear to God, big old bags of them all the time. All different kinds. When I stopped doing drugs. Really? Yeah. And it took a long time. You know what I mean? Like, I never found no drugs when I was on drugs. That didn't happen. And that was just, still tempting you. What are you going to do now? You know what I mean? Or do you still feel the same way? And that's where it is you work so hard to avoid it that it still finds its way back to you. Has your training worked? Or even if it was in front of you, would you still give into it? And that's it. You just learn by repetition. You know what I mean? And that goes back to you guys with, your pornography. You can't stop this. I'm not going to be all Dr. Phil about it. It's going to take some changes. A lot of changes. And that's just it. It's just stopping behaviors. You wouldn't do this in front of God. So don't do it at home. Because God is in your home. Whether you choose to acknowledge He's there or not. Just because you're smoking meth in your bathroom does not mean you're not smoking meth at home with your kids. Let it sink in, motherfuckers. Just because it's in a different room of the house doesn't mean you're not doing drugs in the house with the kids. When the police come, it doesn't matter how far away you were when you were doing it. You're still doing drugs in the house with the kids, bro. And it's not that you're a terrible person, but what's making you do this? Where are you in life that you're hiding in the bathroom, smoking fucking pills on fucking aluminum foil? What has put your mind to this? Let's put down the candy and let the little boy... in the essence, I forgive you and all, but there's something bigger going on here. You know what I mean? Like, why do you have to pound a whole bottle of fucking something every night to put yourself to sleep or to make it through the night? We can't do this. That's pounding your fucking kidneys, and those are like the one things you can't, that don't regenerate. Stop doing this. You're taking your feelings out on your body. Really? Yeah. God's everywhere. He's not at church. He's not just in these books either. And the books will try to make you feel so condemned that you'll just slam the fucking book and say, I can't be right by God. You're totally loved by God, and you're all right by God. God's just trying to get you right. There's nothing wrong. You can go to Europe and find some little place where there's tons of people that are getting high just like you. And they don't have to hide. They're not hiding in a bathroom. They're out in, broad daylight, putting needles to the fucking skin right in front of everyone. You know what I mean? Like, their government says, well, so be it. The government gave in. It's like, if they want to suffer, let them suffer in peace. And that's kind of where it is. It's like, if you so shall choose. If you want to get fucked up and be broke and fucking, really hungover and worried about, feeling guilty about your decisions, party on in your 20s. We've all been there, done that. Been there, done that. And that's where the wise one is like, oh, well, why didn't you tell me? Would you have listened? Hasn't everybody told you that this is what happens? You end up praying to the porcelain god? Life experiences is what it is. We talked about a whole bunch of stuff. What did we talk about? Jesus' wife, the Christ's realm. We didn't talk about aliens, did we? Nope. And we talked about what they did. What Krishna says is it's still in you. Now, what's funny is none of us know Krishna. We don't really know Buddha, but apparently, according to that book, Buddha lives within us. So when I come over here telling you that God lives within you and Jesus lives within you, why can't you accept that? You don't want no... Oh, no, I don't want no Buddha. I'll take some Jesus, but I don't want no Buddha. I don't know no Buddha. There's no Buddha inside of me. Hey, bro, you got a whole bunch of goddess energy going on inside of you right now, bro. You got some dark goddess. You're not even showing any Christ-like, and there's no Christ coming out of you right now. We better pray to him. Get on your knees like Buddha. Ah! Oh, man. That's why God don't let me out of my high tower. He was like, you better stay up there on the 5th floor. Stay away from people. They're going to slap you. They're your people. I wish they would. I'll slap them back. Just kidding. Just kidding. What do we got here? I don't know. There's a bunch of messages that I took from the church. The day Jesus cursed. What'd you say, Jesus? Jesus had made this triumphal entry into Jerusalem. That evening he left the city to go to Bethany, and he stayed there. Jesus was returning in the morning when he cursed a fig tree. Oh yeah, that's it. He cursed you. Why did God curse you? Because you cursed this world. John saw Jesus resurrected. When? When did he see it? On the 8th day. John saw Jesus again, and Thomas was there. Really? Yeah, 8 days. 8 days. What's this one? Just a bunch of notes. Revelations 20. If a name is not there, that one shall be thrown into the lake of fire. Really? I don't know. You're going to be thrown in the lake of fire. I hope you can swim, Ellie. The Paul's of enemy of the Lord were sought by the Lord. Paul was a faithful Pharisee among the Jews. He thought the Christians were committing treason against the law. He continued to persecute the church. Jesus sought to start over with Saul. He wanted him to find forgiveness and enlist him in the Lord's work. He told Ananias, "Go to the streets called Straight, inquire the one called Saul." Jesus further said, "He is a chosen vessel of mine." He's like, "This one's mine. Don't touch him." Ananias told Saul, "Arise and be baptized and washed of your sins." Really? Yeah. When is this? I don't know. There's a lot of it. Just side notes. Really? There's a lot of great stories in there. You should read the Bible. It's filled with all kinds of unbelievable stories. You should probably get it in the message form if you're going to try to read the New Testament, because unless you can really, read that kind of scripture, the these and thous and those and that and, all that scripture shit, you're probably better off starting with the Message Bible. It just reads it in a storybook form. And then after that, I would go into the Living Word. That one's an easy one. I wouldn't go straight into the New King James, that's for sure. Or any of those. No? And that's not even the super Orthodox. And then they come in Jewish scripture, it was written in Hebrew. Hey, I love you guys. Happy Sunday fun day. We'll check the energy for the week later. Today? No. Tomorrow. Later. Laters. Remember, Jesus